Welcome. This is the Philip Koerper Show. I am Philip Koerper, and this is episode 15. Really excited to be with you today. It's July 30th, 2018, and I've got a really good show for you today. I listened over the weekend on Sunday. Ben Shapiro had a Sunday special, and he had Mike Rowe on there, the Dirty Jobs guy. This was just a great hour-long interview. Mike Rowe is a fascinating man. He tries to stay apolitical and in the middle, and yet he's just very outspoken. The funniest thing I thought about this whole episode, this show, this Sunday special, was when Mike Rowe talked about fundraising. Mike Rowe has a special, it's a work ethic scholarship. Mike Rowe's got this really wonderful attitude and idea about college education. And not everyone's supposed to go to college. I think this is so important. I remember President Obama was encouraging everyone to go to college. Everyone should go to college, borrow a bunch of money, and go to college. This is not right for all people. A lot of people go to college, they borrow all this money, they get accepted, sometimes with just diversity hires or other kind of things like that. And then they bomb out of college, and then they have all this debt, no college education, all this debt. It's really a depressing situation for these people. And so Mike Rowe talks about going to college if you really have the curiosity to go to college, if you have the ability to pay for it, if your parents could pay for it. But to borrow a bunch of money to go to college when you don't have a lot of curiosity and a lot of drive or purpose could be a complete waste of money. So I think Mike Rowe is totally right about this. And I think he makes a really good point on Ben Shapiro's show. Well, Mike Rowe is putting more into it than that. He has these work ethic scholarships. He has different vocational type of avenues for people to go to. He talks about there's 6 million jobs in the United States right now, and 75% of these jobs do not require any education or tech skills at all. Okay? And some of them require just a little bit of tech skills. I have a really good friend who went to college. He got out of college, he could not get a job. So what did he do? He went back to tech school to learn how to do ironworking skills. And now he works for a Japanese company building drill bits for car manufacturers. Kentucky is a big state for car manufacturers. I think we're third or fourth in the United States in car production. Well, anyhow, so now he works for a company that makes drill bits for the local Toyota plant, and then also plants all across the world. So he has this wonderful education now and a wonderful job working with his hands and in tech with the machines making these drill bits. It's a really good point. So Mike Rowe talks about that, and he talks about this scholarship. So it's just wonderful. I think he's really dead on. I think we're really misleading many kids and pressuring them to go into college when they have no curiosity, no desire, and especially if they have to borrow a bunch of money. Okay, that might be a terrible idea. Well, anyhow, one of the coolest things is that Mike Rowe had an auction. This was a few years ago, and so he contacted 3 people. He wanted to raise some money for his scholarship. And so he contacted Donald Trump, Bernard Sanders, and HRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton. And he wanted a pantsuit from Hillary that maybe she can sign or something. Maybe one of those old tweed jackets that Bernard wears, Bernie Sanders. And then he asked like Donald Trump for like a bathrobe. Okay. HRC and Bernard, nothing. No response. This is a total charity fundraiser. No response, nothing. Oh, Donald Trump? Oh, a response. Donald Trump hand-signed, and it's on MikeRowe.com's website, hand-signed a bathrobe, okay, and then had somebody deliver that to Mike Rowe, hand-deliver it to Mike Rowe. So Mike Rowe put on this bathrobe and then auctioned it off. And here it says $15,575. Angela Phillips bid that. So he brought in like close to $16,000 for Donald Trump's bathrobe. Oh, just brilliant. Donald is just so on top of things and the optics of this. I mean, this is so wonderful for Mike Rowe to be able to go this avenue, this charity route. I mean, personal charities, community efforts like this do so much better than government situations. So that's a whole nother topic. What has happened to our college campuses, our colleges, the incredible liberalism, the way the government is funding all these things, increasing our taxes to pay for all these colleges, trying to encourage everyone to go to college, borrow a bunch of money, forgiving the debt. I mean, anyhow, I could go on and on about that. But this Mike Rowe thing was just really awesome. And it really highlights, I think, how awesome Donald Trump really can be, how savvy he is in working with just people. And I think it really, truly illustrates how much Donald Trump really cares about the average person. And so this work ethics scholarship is such a really cool idea. I just love it. And so kudos to Ben Shapiro for having Mike Rowe on that. On the flip side, yesterday I got a message from one of my good friends, and he is, deleting the Ben Shapiro podcast from his iPad, deleting this description from his iPhone podcast app. I mean, and he was upset with Ben Shapiro calling balls and strikes and really going after Donald Trump on different topics, I think on the trade thing. And I tell you, I just was doing some research and searched Ben Shapiro and anti-Trump, and then this Ben Shapiro, Donald Trump is a liar video comes up. Now, I think this is for during the election campaign, but anyhow, I mean, Ben Shapiro did not vote for Donald Trump. And really does criticize him quite frequently. I listened to Ben Shapiro's podcast today when I was walking home from work, and he immediately starts off about Donald's tweets, thinking that these might be inappropriate and things. And the thing I say about Donald and his tweets, which I love, I really feel like I know the heart and soul of Donald Trump with all of his tweets. I really understand where he's coming from. And so when Donald Trump is talking in a press conference in Helsinki, I already know what his goals with Vladimir Putin and Russia are. I already know that he does want to try to agree with Vladimir on things that we can agree on, but he's going to speak out against him on the Ukraine and Crimea. I had a friend today come up to work and go, "Oh boy, Donald Trump, that Helsinki thing, And I guess he thought I was just going to go, yeah, that's just really terrible. Donald Trump's just really terrible. I mean, that's the real in vogue hipster kind of thing to respond to. And I said, oh, yeah, I mean, it was just amazing that Donald Trump, hit Vladimir, below the belt really with criticizing buying all this energy, Germany buying all this energy from Russia with that pipeline, with that second generation pipeline. I mean, which is so absolutely true. And Donald Trump was extremely critical of Germany buying all this energy from Russia. Okay, this probably put Vladimir Putin into a tailspin. He is desperate for money, and the only good source he has for bringing money into his regime, and so he can continue his dictatorship, is energy. It's oil, natural gas. This is where Russia gets its money. And so for Donald Trump to be speaking out against that was one of the hardest things that the United States president recently has said to Russia. So all this, and so I know what Donald Trump is trying to do with Russia. So when a bunch of super criticism over the Helsinki press conference, I mean, I think it's just a bunch of smoke. I don't see anything different. Donald Trump's trying to have a good relationship with Vladimir. Of course, when he's standing right next to him, he's not going to openly criticize him. Anything they talked about in private is not going to go anywhere if Donald is going to criticize Vladimir open like that. This is negotiations. It's behind the scenes. Okay, many people miss this, and Ben Shapiro really struggles with that. Ben Shapiro is great on many other things, but he really does not understand Donald Trump at all in many cases, and that's frustrating. And but it is what it is. I have got to show you And moving on, I got to show you this thing on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, she is cracking me up. This is what the Democrats are up to. This is really pretty amazing. Tom Perez, I guess he's the head of the DNC, he is saying that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she is she is the Democratic Party. This is where we're going. She won this primary in New York. She beat an incumbent Democrat, and then she's on with Trevor Noah. And so I got this from James Woods tweeted this, and this is from the Daily Caller. I'm not quite sure that this is going to work, but I wanted to show you this.
You always see people coming in with economic arguments, and they say, look, these numbers don't really add up. In order to get health care for everybody, this is what it would cost. That's going to be troubling. Even if you reverse the Republican tax deal, that's only going to make up 5% of what we need to pay for Medicare for all. How do you pay for education for all? How do you pay for all of these ideas?
So this is an excellent question. And in fact, there's a lot of back of the envelope stuff based on our values. So for example, I sat down with a Nobel Prize economist last week. I can't believe I can say that. It's really weird. But one of the things that we saw is if people pay their fair share, if corporations and the ultra wealthy, for example, as Warren Buffett likes to say, if he paid as much as his secretary paid, 15%, if he paid a 15% tax rate, if corporations paid, if we reversed the tax bill but raised our corporate tax rate to 28%, which is not even as high as it was before. If we do those two things and also close some of those loopholes, that's $2 trillion right there. That's $2 trillion in 10 years. And it's one of the wide estimates is that it's going to take $3 to $4 trillion to transition us to a 100% renewable energy economy. So we got $2 trillion from folks paying their fair share, which they were not paying before the Trump tax bill.
Right.
They weren't paying that before the Trump tax bill. If we get people to pay their fair share, that's $2 trillion in 10 years. Now, if we implement a carbon tax on top of that, so that we can transition and financially incentivize people away from fossil fuels, if we implement a carbon tax, that's an additional amount of a large amount of revenue that we can have. And then the last key, which is extremely important, is reprioritization. Just last year, we gave the military a $700 billion budget increase, which they didn't even ask for. They're like, we don't want another fighter jet. They're like, don't give us another nuclear bomb. They didn't even ask for it, and we gave it to them. And so.
Okay, that was from the Daily Show, Trevor Noah. Okay, so let me get this straight. I am so confused. So this is what the Democrats are going to run on? I mean, this is really, this lady, I mean, Medicare for all, recent study, that's $34 trillion in 10 years, okay? Almost $3 to $4 trillion a year. You want the government running that? I do like in Ben Shapiro's podcast today, he was talking about, he quoted from a man who talks about, I can't remember, it's from a National Review, about three things in healthcare. And this is, you could only have 2 out of the 3. You can only have quality, universality, and things on the cheap. Okay, you can only have 2 out of the 3. So, for example, you could have quality, okay, and universality. Everyone gets high quality Medicare, but it's not going to be cheap. So you don't get the cheap part. Okay. Now, if you want cheap healthcare and you want everyone to get it, well, then you're going to have low quality. Okay. So you can't have all 3 at the same time. Okay, this is such a great point. It's such a great point. And which would you rather have? The government, giving everyone health care, but it's super low quality. I mean, I don't think Americans would go for that. You cannot. So we can have expensive health care. We can pay a lot for it. And we can have high quality, but not everyone's going to be able to get it. We can't afford it. America can't afford it. You can take all the money from all the rich people. It's only going to pay for about a year. Okay, that's not going to work. So there's not the money, there's not the will of the American people to pay for it. The liberals love to advertise their programs, and you noticed who's going to pay for that. She just was going to have the uber rich pay for it, the corporations, and then we're going to take the money from the military. Okay. That is not going to work, and I don't think that's going to go over. The federal government, really the only real important thing that they need to do overall is have a military. I was having a fun conversation with a history professor today, and he was talking about how weak we were before World War II. Our military was like the size of Finland's. We were just very, very weak militarily. And that's probably a good reason why the Germans weren't too worried about us getting involved, and neither the Japanese. So they made their moves. If America was really powerful, a military powerhouse, do you think maybe Adolf Hitler might have thought differently? Maybe he wouldn't have started that, trying to take over the world, or Japan to make their move as they're trying to move into China and the Philippines and take a big land power grab there. Maybe not. So anyhow, I think Teddy Roosevelt got it right. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Something like that. I really like that. So anyhow, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and this socialism, and there's really no such thing as Democrat socialism. This socialist ideas, I think, are not going to be accepted widely. I just don't think that's not going to work at all. I wanted to close with an uplifting quote. Let's see. This is from Spencer W. Kimball. It was president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints a few decades ago. He goes, "The home should be a place where reliance on the Lord is a matter of common experience, not reserved for special occasions. One way of establishing that is by regular, earnest prayer. It is not enough just to pray. It is essential that we really speak to the Lord, having faith that He will reveal to us as parents what we need to know and do for the welfare of our families." I encourage everyone to do what you can to strengthen your own family, even if it's just a family of one. I really appreciate you guys listening today. This is Philip Koerper on the Philip Koerper Show, copyright 2018. Have a great day. Thanks. Bye.